say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. All right. Let us continue the transmission. This time, this segment titled Ringing the Bell. We are talking about the idea of Bell Rock, the center of the vortex, and why our ship is positioned above that. This vortex is connected to many others that form kind of a semicircle around it, spreading out across the lower southwest and to the west of your North American continent. But the Sedona vortex being the one that we are adding our energy to help balance out the energy of transformation, to make it smoother and easier for you to transform within the vortex, to use the vortex in more positive ways, to deal with the magnification and amplification that happens when you bring into that vortex whatever it is, positive or negative, that you bring in with you, so that you can let go of those things that are out of alignment and incorporate more of the things that are in alignment with who you prefer to be. Now, the Sedona vortex connects to a very powerful portal in the area known as Upheaval Dome in Utah. This is a powerful portal that is very large, that allows for what we might call a lot of traffic from other dimensions, other realities, to pass through or arrive in to your reality. This is why it encompasses the area also known to you lately as Skinwalker Ranch, and why there are many things happening there that are now being discovered by all of you. These portals are available to those who understand how to set up the right frequency to enter them, to pass through them. And you're beginning to discover that the frequency of 1.6 gigahertz is what allows you, when broadcasting, to get a feedback signal that the portal has opened. That is what the feedback signals represent. The opening of the portal, when you hear the feedback, you know the portal is open. So projecting that particular frequency and getting the feedback is what lets you know that the portal is allowing passage. Upheaval Dome is an impact crater that has created certain magnetic effects in that area that allows the electromagnetic portal to exist between dimensions. And when we talk about the idea of ringing the bell, it is what we have just described as sending out the proper frequency and getting the feedback, getting the ring, making the bell ring, the portal ring, so that you know it is open and gives you access to other levels of consciousness, other dimensions of reality. And therefore, though it hasn't yet been tried, but will be tried in the future, the idea of taking that frequency and projecting it in the Sedona vortex will also create many surprises and many experiences that will allow you to continue to compile more data, more understanding, and more information about how these vortices work and what they can allow you to connect to. Thank you for your synchronous ringing of the bell. And so, not only can you do this with technology, as demonstrated in your programs, but you can also do it within yourselves by forming a gathering around Bell Rock and allowing yourself in your imagination to create the Om vibration and then projecting it physically outward, Om, but knowing while you're doing that, that you impart to it from your imagination the 1.6 gigahertz frequency. Let the Om carry the frequency into Bell Rock, penetrating it and adding to the electromagnetic vortex that it is the heart of. So just by doing your normal oming, your normal meditative chanting, but by imagining and projecting the 1.6 gigahertz frequency into it, you can begin to experience some changes, some frequency changes, some feedback changes, some feelings, some shiftings, some experiences, especially in opening up the portal to your dream time and seeing what happens in your dream time that allows you to begin to connect etherically with many other dimensions, many other beings, and then let it slowly leak into your physical reality, becoming more and more lucid in the physical reality dream. So it is a process, but you can begin it by chanting around Bell Rock and imagining that frequency being projected into the stone and into the electromagnetic vortex. Do you understand? Yes. All right. Now, if you look at the configuration also of the natural formation of Bell Rock, you can see that even though it doesn't actually appear to be similar, if you were to take, let us say, the Great Pyramid of Giza and overlap it on Bell Rock, you would see some similar proportions. The idea is wide at the base, narrow at the top, in precisely the appropriate angles to create the vortex, because it is mimicking, in a sense, in a round formation, the same idea that the pyramid creates as well. So it is like having a circular pyramid of natural stone that is electromagnetically activated. So you can consider Bell Rock to be a type of pyramid, though it doesn't look anything like the pyramids you are used to, but it functions in a similar way. One thing that can also be done to amplify your experience is in the meditations we have talked about, in the chanting, and in the projection of that frequency in that area. You may find if you relax into that vibration, it may actually promote the idea more easily for you of lucid dreaming and astral projection. Because this is the idea behind the Great Pyramid of Giza. In the king's chamber and in the stone coffer, the priests would create this chant, this vibration, this frequency, which would allow them more efficacy at astral projection. So they could go into other dimensions, bring back information that would aid and assist the population. This is something that the ancient Atlanteans taught them and was incorporated into their Egyptian civilization after the fall of Atlantis. So Bell Rock can perform much the same function, though you won't necessarily find the same kinds of inner chambers. The idea of getting it to resonate according to the frequencies we have just described will allow you to tap into the vortex in a way that can promote, again, more efficacy with the idea of lucid dreaming and astral projection by doing the chant that we have just described. Also, you may find that doing different kinds of frequencies with the chanting will allow you to tap into different beings, different levels of consciousness, not only of your own consciousness, but different realities, different beings that inhabit different levels, different realities. And by doing the chant and doing traditional American Indian chanting and projecting that same frequency, you may find that you will be able to evoke the dimension or the in-between dimensions that house the Kachinas. The Kachina spirits are very strong in the Sedona area in terms of their coming and going from the vortex. You do not always see them. They are usually invisible to you, but you can allow your senses to stretch to the point where you can begin to perceive them and their comings and goings and their connection to the land and their connection to the energies of the people of the land. By doing the chanting that is most traditional, with the drum chants of the American Indian people in the area. By setting that up, you can increase the vibration and frequency of the vortex, as has been demonstrated in the Skinwalker Ranch area with native drumming, causing an increase in the frequency of the energy of the vortex. Thus, you can replicate that here as well, very strongly, and connect to the idea of the Kachina spirits, and allow your senses to be able to begin to perceive them, first perhaps as transparent forms, and then perhaps as spheres of light, and then perhaps in the archetypal form in which the American Indians presented them. The idea then is to understand that you have in your midst a kind of a telephone to many different dimensions. With the right input, you will get different kinds of output. With the chanting and the frequencies in your imagination and inputting those frequencies into the vortex, you can call forth and develop more relation to not only your own higher mind and your spirit guides and spirit family, but also many dimensions of beings that are more than willing to communicate with you and together form a new understanding, a new reality, using the portal to accelerate and transform your reality and to accelerate the evolution of humanity, and also make connections to many of the extraterrestrial sources, and in particular, in this day and age, to make connections to the hybrids that will eventually come to live among you. Sedona is, and the outlying areas of Sedona in general, though we will not name a specific point, is one of the candidates for the sanctuaries for the hybrid children. But out in nature, not in proximity at first to the idea of the civilization, to the town itself, but in the surrounding nature, among the trees, where the rivers are, where the water flows, where the trees grow, where the wind blows, where the animals gather, where the crows crow, where the coyotes howl. In that natural environment, a sanctuary will naturally form, and the hybrid children will gravitate to it. So what you are doing in the chanting and the inputting of the frequency is creating the vortex of Bell Rock to ring like a beacon, to attract them to the area, to let them know that you are willing to set up that frequency for them, to encourage them to adopt the area in the surrounding natural zone as one of the sanctuaries, allowing yourself to create that frequency of compatibility vibrationally for them, and a stronger connection between your energy and their energy. So in this ringing of the bell, there are many functions that can aid and assist in accelerating your energy and accelerating the evolution of humanity, with the idea of the invitation and arrival of the hybrids that will eventually come to live among you, in order for Earth to evolve toward what we have called the sixth hybrid race. We thank you for allowing us to share this information with you, and we encourage you to go to the area, do your chanting, do your drumming, and do the vibrational inputting that will allow the vortex of Sedona to become a calling card and an invitation, ringing true to those who will come, to those who will once be among you one day. We thank you for allowing us to share this, and in return for this gift, I ask you now, in what way may we be of service to you? You may continue, if you wish, with your dialogues and questions.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I'm so grateful to speak to you today.
As are we, deeply appreciative of the opportunity to speak with you as well.
So you said yesterday that you found a way to remember the Thuk, whose species make interactions with them be forgotten afterwards.
Yes.
And I'm curious, how did you find a way to remember them? What technique did you use?
We came together telepathically as a civilization and scanned all of the frequencies that were emanating from the Thuk home world, and thus found the one that would be vibrationally compatible with us to retain the memory. Sort of, I suppose, in a way, what you and your technology in computer parlance might call a backdoor.
Oh. Is there any way that us as humans can utilize this technique for remembering interdimensional experiences?
When you are telepathically bonded with your entire civilization, yes. As an individual at this particular time, low probability.
Okay. So, I find my soul expressing itself in this incarnation as a queer, trans, non-binary, gender fluid person.
All right.
And this year, I followed my excitement and started to create monthly events for my queer community in Los Angeles.
All right.
To connect in nature and to meet in places that weren't bars or places with loud music and not centered around alcohol. So in my events, we really focus on creating a space where we can be free and more natural and not be more natural, less normal, like you've encouraged us to do. We play games, we have cuddle puddles, we are openly talk about sexuality and deep conversations. Yes.
You got somebody excited.
Yes. So on the surface, it might seem like a social event or speed dating event, but truly my deeper intention has been to always connect ourselves to our higher selves, and it's really a spiritual connection that I have for my intention.
Yes, all right.
So I call this passion Venus in Aquarius, and in my own birth chart, I'm Venus in Aquarius, and I'm curious to hear from you what the energy of Venus in Aquarius is.
Love pouring out.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You are welcome.
So I'm holding a spherical rose quartz that I bring to my events.
All right.
One to represent and honor Venus and radiate love energy, and to also intentionally invite any beings to peer through. Like I know those crystals beside you are ways that beings can peer through, like eyes, right?
It can be used that way by those who are vibrationally compatible with that permission slip, yes.
Cool. So I've invited you and the Esasani to come to my events and join us, and any beings that want to. So.
Many of us have already eavesdropped.
Oh! That makes me so excited. Because when I was planning the first event, I was driving on the freeway, and a car drove in front of me, and the license plate said UFO party.
Synchronicity abounds.
Yes, so I'm so thrilled to know that you've been there, or you've eavesdropped.
Do you not think we know all the things that are going on your planet?
Oh, I know you do.
All the transformations and changes taking place toward the evolution of humanity.
Beautiful.
This is what we monitor.
And there's been lots of amazing representation of queer identities in our society and media lately, and I've seen the younger generation feel safer to come out of the closet. But at the same time this year, so many anti-trans and anti-LGBT bills have been passed that invalidate and discriminate us and make it hard for us to get healthcare or feel safe. Trans people continue to get murdered for just being themselves, and so many of my own peers feel nervous just to hold our lovers' hands in public.
Yes.
So yesterday you were mentioning a lot about being in service to others, and this is my way of being in service. So I'm curious, is there anything I can know how to better serve my community?
Understand that the events going on reflect the idea that the spirit is everything and nothing, and can be anything. And it is a reminder to humanity to connect more with spirit and allow that spirit to inform the person as to what their journey is, no matter what. Because again, this transformation is important to take place on your planet at this time, to remind people that the spirit is everything and nothing.
Everything and nothing. Like,
It is no particular gender and thus can be any gender.
thank you.
Because your spirit is your spirit and it is all things. Just as all that is all things. So this is a way to allow those who harbor fears, who are afraid to look within, afraid to connect consciously with Source, that is all things, and afraid to be reminded that they can be all things that they need to be. So you are demonstrating as a living example that humans are more than the boxes that you have put yourselves in for a long time. That you are now expressing outside the box, outside the limitations of human mind, of physical mind, that you are connecting more to the idea of the malleability and flexibility that is inherent in spirit. That you are all living a dream, and in that dream anything is possible. And everyone in that dream can be in love.
Thank you so much.
Well, I had nothing to do with it, that's just the way it is.
I feel it when I'm with my community. I feel like we're on this spiritual wavelength of just being so
Yes.
transcendent. And
All right.
yes,
And transformation.
transformation, yes. So my whole life has changed since I've started to do these events and take these big risks. And recently I got
Taking what?
taking
Risks?
making a big choice.
Thank you.
Maybe.
Because being yourself is the least risky thing you can do. Trying to be something you're not is taking a risk.
Thank you. That's beautiful. So, being more myself,
Yes.
I've manifested working at a vegan animal sanctuary
Yes.
where my job is to connect with animals and learn about their stories of how they got rescued from abuse.
All right.
And I get to talk about and take people on tours of how we can reduce suffering and
All right.
really be intentional about the things we eat. So I'm curious about how I can connect more telepathically with these animals.
You send them imagery. Remember, they think in pictures,
Okay.
not in words.
Okay.
So you send them the image of the scenario that you propose. They will follow. They will understand.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Will that do?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bashar.
Hello.
And you, good day.
Day. I don't have a question. I just wanted to say thank you for. Lord Jesus, I knew I was going to cry. God, every time. I just want to say thank you.
You are welcome, and we thank you.
Okay.
Hello,
And you, good day.
Kevin from Germany.
And I'm Bernard, his translator and also the collector of the questions. So, since we are in Sedona, about the vortex in Sedona, above Bell Rock, where is it the strongest point, or how big is the vortex in total?
Bell Rock is the center and the strongest point.
So this is the center, and the round spots on it are the main energy points, or it doesn't matter?
The vortex encompasses the entire area.
Okay.
If you are anywhere near Sedona, you are in the vortex. But the center is Bell Rock.
Okay, so the area is whole Sedona of the vortex.
Repeat.
The whole Sedona city area is the vortex, and this is the
Is
center.
in the vortex, yes. It extends way beyond the city limits.
Good to hear, right? And on this point, I also visited Bosnia and the Bosnian pyramids. What is the vortex there, and is it also connected?
The Bosnian pyramid is a little bit different. It is a vortex that connects to parallel realities very strongly. And there are beings, people like yourselves in alternate versions of Earth that have their own version of that pyramid in their reality too. Many of them are a little bit more advanced than your culture is at this point, and some of them actually are investigating the tunnels in the Bosnian pyramid and observing that beings such as yourselves from your reality and other realities are also investigating it. They're not revealing themselves yet, but they can sense all of you. They have the technology to do that, and one day an encounter will take place within the tunnels in that Bosnian pyramid between different parallel realities.
Nice, yeah, I already saw the shapes of the beings, but a two-way encounter, so like two parallel realities will meet each other in the future.
Yes.
Exciting.
Yes.
And there are also stone spheres in Bosnia. Can you say a little bit about them, what frequency they do, a purpose, or how can we utilize them now?
They represent connections vibrationally to the planets, different star systems.
So every stone sphere represents like a star, or?
A star system, yes. A planet in a star system, a civilization in a star system.
Every single sphere represents like one planet, and then it's like spread around, basically then. Do I understand this right?
Repeat.
That every stone sphere represents a planet or a star, and it's spread around.
Yes, you have vibrational connections, communication connections to different civilizations in different star systems.
Yes, and about this Aum, or some says it's Aum with A, or some say
it doesn't matter how you spell it.
Okay, I just wanted to ask if you maybe can repeat it a few times for us.
Sufficient?
Thank you. And another funny questions. Will we have later also kids with the hybrids?
Eventually, yes. This is how you become the sixth hybrid race.
Very exciting.
Yes. All 6 hybrid races in 1,000 years of your time will then begin to merge to become the Anuhet, the 7th hybrid race.
And
I thought that was your last question.
So is it or not?
You tell us.
Are there any other interesting vortexes near Sedona?
I already told you about Upheaval Dome.
Okay.
That will be all that we need to mention today.
Okay. Then thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Good day, everyone. I love you all so much. It's such a pleasure being here. So thank you for reflecting to me and to all of us the unconditional love and support of creation.
It is our passion and our pleasure to do so.
This reflection has helped me through many challenging moments, including the transition and transformation of my beautiful twin brother.
All right.
I, too, have transformed negative into positive and darkness into light. My life has bloomed exponentially by following my highest excitement to the best of my ability with no insistence on the outcome while staying in a positive state regardless of the circumstance.
And don't forget the 5th point.
And taking action upon
Examining your belief systems and letting go of those that are out of alignment with who you true to be.
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right. So that means then if you are following it as precisely as you indicate, you have no questions. Or do you?
I do have questions. I would like to continue my statements and say that I honor and dedicate this communication to my brother, for his death and life has given me an endless gift, for I am eternally grateful, and thank you. I am very excited about this topic of Bell Rock. We were at Bell Rock the other day, and on the northwest side of Bell Rock, there's these, I call them like fey cliff dwellings almost, these little holes. And I found myself ohming into them to ring the bell. And so I'm curious are there elemental beings that are a part of these holes?
Absolutely.
Can you give us any specific information on these beings?
No.
No. Okay. Recently, I had a significant dream where my mother and I...
One moment. Find, synchronistically or otherwise, a member of a local tribe that can tell you more about the elementals connected to the area.
Okay. I will allow synchronicity to guide me. So, I recently had a dream where my mother and I it seemed like we're in a hotel event center, and her and I were trying to escape the area that we were in. We were trying to get away for some reason. And then all of a sudden, I found myself and her in this room with all closed doors, and there is a few other people in the room as well. And we were all sitting down, and there was a door, and we all knew not to open the door because eventually there was going to be a gray that was going to step through this doorway. And we were all a little frightened of when that moment was going to come. And all of a sudden, I saw my twin brother. He manifested in the dream, and really innocently and joyfully, he's like, "Oh, a door, let me open this." And so he goes ahead and opens it, and out walks a albino Sasquatch about 10 feet tall. And my brother sees this Sasquatch and starts to go into psychic shock and almost passes out. And the Sasquatch lovingly and compassionately grabs him and holds on to him to help him collect himself. And I was wondering if you can give me any more insight on that dream.
Do not be afraid of the power of your own higher mind.
Okay, well said. And
of course, partially blended with a memory of being on board a spacecraft.
okay. So,
And also, partially blended with the idea of interdimensional travel,
okay.
because the Sasquatch can do that naturally.
Okay. So I feel that the hybrids are helping us
Yes.
activate our inner Sasquatch.
Well, yes, in a sense.
Yeah.
It can be done that way, since you do still contain the genetics that eventually evolved into the Sasquatch for those early hominids that were not altered by the Anunnaki.
Yes. Okay. In December of 2010, I was at a concert in Denver, Colorado, and had a wonderful time. And as I was exiting the concert, I felt myself pulled magnetically towards this being, towards somebody standing near the exit. And as I bumped into this person, I lost consciousness, and I felt this shock go up my spine, and I felt as if spirit was breathing me all in just this instant. And when I opened back my eyes, this person was wearing a shirt that resembled exactly the experience that I had. And I stood next to this person and asked him, I felt like he was an alien. And so I was like, "Hey, so what's your name?" And he told me his name was Niram. I was like, "Okay, yeah, he's..." Okay. So I was like, so, Neron, where are you from? And he chuckles and looks at me. He's like, I'm from here. I'm from around here. I was like, oh, you know. Anyways, this was a really big event for me and really triggered me to start evolving more. So I was wondering, was this being a precursor, or was he a member of the hybrids or an extraterrestrial?
One moment. We are seeing what we are allowed to say. This is what would be called a precursor imprint. In other words, a precursor is telepathically using a human being from your planet to radiate the vibration of a precursor to trigger certain experiences within humans that may run into them.
Okay.
So you are touching into the vibration of a precursor with a human being used as a transmission device.
Interesting.
So it's one step removed, but you are experiencing the vibration of a precursor.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
So earlier this year, I was practicing a channeling course, and I was working with somebody who channels the IL and other beings as well. And I had some private sessions with him and practiced channeling in front of a live group as well. And I suppose it felt really odd to me. I felt like once I was done with the channeling, I wasn't that excited about channeling anymore, as if I was just making up everything on the spot and fooling other people.
Yes.
And
it doesn't have to be your way of doing things. It's part of your exploration, and you can decide whether or not it's correct for you.
Okay.
There are other forms of channeling, remember.
Yeah.
Channeling is something all of you do when you are doing what you love. You go into the channeling state. So how you choose to express it creatively is up to you.
Okay. Thank you for saying that, and that helps me try, or not try, but act on more of a, I could say, a grounded way of channeling. Because I feel
Yes.
like I'm channeling like in every moment. And
In a sense, you
Yeah.
are. Remember that you're all channeling your human personality
Okay.
constantly. So you're always in a type of channeling state. But in terms of the physical representation, anytime you do what you love to do, anytime you're in a deep meditation, anytime you are, as you say, in the zone, and you don't pay attention to the passage of time, you are in the state in the brain known as gamma, between 40 and 100 cycles per second. That's the channeling state. You all do it.
Understood. So that meditation last night was very powerful, and I feel like collectively we went through a portal that we transformed just within that meditation. And so
Yes. Again, remember, you are shifting all the time, billions of times per second. The meditation acted, in a sense, like a navigation tool, a rudder, to make sure you are being guided in the direction of versions of Earth that are more reflective of what you prefer.
okay, because I also felt it was an initiation into the Interstellar Alliance.
In some senses, yes, because we talked about the idea of you being, in a sense, an honorary member of the Galactic Society. Not yet full-fledged, but on your way.
On our way. Okay. Well, with that being said, I'll be on my way, and thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
How would you define the words perfect and perfectionism?
You are perfect as you are every moment. Whatever it is you are a perfect version of that. It doesn't mean you won't change, because you always change, and you become differently perfect as you are in that definition of that moment. So perfection is not the end. Perfection is a process, continual process that never ends. It is the willingness to be more and more of your true self. That's all it is. Does that help?
I'd like more clarification on how can every moment be perfect? Aren't there two sides to
Every moment you are a perfect version of what you are. You are equating the idea of perfection as if you are trying to reach a goal after which you will never change. That will never occur, ever, because you can always change. You can always become something else. Change is the only constant in creation. So the idea of perfection in the way that you're seeking it is to constantly change, to constantly become more as yourself, whatever that means. So perfection is not a static state. It's a dynamically changing state. If you go with the flow, you are operating in perfection, constantly changing. But the idea is that whatever you are at that moment, even though you're going to change, is a perfect version of that thing. Does that make more sense? Yes, no, maybe?
I'm still struggling with this, or challenged by this one.
Is it because you think that perfection is something you achieve and then you don't achieve anything beyond that?
Yes.
But I just told you that that's not what perfection is.
What if you're murdering someone or being murdered? Are those perfect moments?
For what they are, yes, it's a perfect murder. This is not a value judgment. We're not talking about positive and negative here. We're just saying it is what it is, and it is perfect as what it is. That's all we're saying. It is a perfect representation of that act, of that thing. Using perfect in that way simply as a definition of what is it that's going on. That's all we're saying. We're not making value judgments here. Are you associating a value judgment with the word perfect?
Yes.
Why?
It's a good question.
Thank you. Do you have a good answer?
Not at this moment, no.
All right. That's a perfect answer. Do you understand that change will never end?
I guess I haven't internalized that.
What do you think it would look like if you achieved perfection? Can you describe it to us?
I feel like
Give us an example.
I'd be out of debt, I'd have lots of money, I'd have,
Oh, I see. This is all connected to finance.
well, my body would be healthy, I'd be in a state of joy and ecstasy all the time. I
Your
wouldn't
body
worry
would be
about
healthy.
things.
All right. You would have all the money you want. Do you understand that there are different forms of abundance?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
Can you name them?
Outside of finance, there's also health, and that's all that's coming to my head at the moment.
All right. Health is a good answer. But outside of the exchange of money on your planet, which is a viable symbol of abundance, being given a gift is a form of abundance. Having something to trade is a form of abundance. Synchronicity is a form of abundance. Imagination is a form of abundance. Communication is a form of abundance. Because abundance is simply the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. That's all it is. So the idea is that if you focus only on one form, you're closing the doors through which other forms can come. You're invalidating all the other forms. When the natural act is to be open to all forms of abundance so that in acting on your passion, whatever forms need to be there to join together to create the 100% abundance that will allow you to continue to act on your passion can then flow together and happen and support you. Maybe it will be a little bit of money. Maybe someone will give you a gift. Maybe your imagination will be inspired to think of a way you can do things that you hadn't thought of before that won't require as much money. Maybe you can communicate something to someone that they find valuable, and they will support you in a certain way. You have to let all the forms of abundance come together to support you. Don't limit the idea of what abundance means. Does this help?
It helps. Thank you.
You're very welcome. See, information is a form of abundance.
On the topic of information, I was wondering, what would you say if I wanted you to spoil my surprises or open one of my presents? Every time I've heard you say that, I've always wanted somebody to say yes.
All right. What present would you like me to open?
What I'd like to know about my future, or the best.
You'd
What is
like to
that?
know
What is
about your
what is
future.
the highest vibrational version of myself doing in a parallel reality right now?
What is your strongest passion that you're not acting on?
I love fantasy art, but I'm actually taking action on it.
Are you taking all the actions you can? And what is your art?
I'm working on T-shirts that are either dragons or spirituality related, and
Is that the highest expression of your art that you can imagine?
no, it would actually be fantasy book covers.
Are you acting on that?
Am not.
Why not?
I guess the opportunity just doesn't.
Oh, you mean you haven't created an opportunity yet?
Yes,
Then why don't you create an opportunity?
I will do that now.
All right. Then now you know your future. Or not. It's up to you. Does that help you?
It does.
All right. Happy creating.
Thank you. May I also ask, can you describe what my spirit guide looks like?
A ball of light. Most spirits don't necessarily take any particular form. They usually appear as orbs of light.
Okay.
Will that do?
Yes, thank you.
You want to call your spirit guide Blue? You can.
I've been using this idea to try to prove to myself that spirituality is real by having other people that can see spirit guides describe mine to me and then comparing their answers.
All right. That's a fascinating project. Especially since spirit guides can appear as almost anything they wish.
Is there any other way I can prove spirituality to
Be more spiritual.
Okay.
Why do you need to prove spirituality?
I'm afraid that I will be duped,
By what?
that I will have chosen the wrong path for myself and will then be. Bless you.
The body is not sneezing. But thank you for your blessing. The body is synchronistically representing the idea of choking, which is what you're doing on physical reality. Suffocating. The idea is you are a spirit. Are you afraid that you will not continue after you die? Is that why you're trying to prove it?
To a degree, yes.
Do you understand that you cannot cease to exist?
I fluctuate between believing and not believing.
It's not about believing. Do you understand how things work? Do you know that once you exist, which obviously you do, you cannot cease to exist? You can change form, but you cannot cease to exist.
I don't know it, no.
Existence is its quality. That which exists cannot become non-existent, because by definition, non-existence doesn't exist. That's its quality, to not exist. So that which exists cannot become that which doesn't. Do you understand this concept?
I think it's a fun wordplay, but I can't internalize it.
All right. Then I would caution you to simply not worry about it. To live your life as fully as you can, to follow your passion. For even if it were true that there is nothing else afterwards, why not live the fullest life you can anyway? Why not?
Do you have any parting book recommendations or transmissions for me?
Book recommendations
Yeah.
on your planet? Destiny of Souls and Journey of Souls might help you.
Thank you, Bashar.
You are very welcome.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize I get this extremely nervous. My heart has been thumping out of my chest.
You mean extremely excited?
Excited, yes. So I feel like my RPM, whatever you call it, is like 250 miles per hour.
All right.
So I actually woke about 3 years ago, and like through a past life regression, I realized I was a mantis being.
You are what?
That I am a mantis being.
You are connecting to
Yes,
a mantis.
I am connecting to the mantis.
It's not you, you're connecting to it.
That's correct.
All right. Yes, I know that's correct.
Yes. And that I come from the Antares.
No, you don't come from.
I come from here.
You are connecting to Antares.
Yes, I'm connecting to the Antares system. So I was
All right.
wondering what my role is assisting humanity with actually working with the mantis beings, and if you can share with us more information that you haven't shared.
Are you following the formula?
I am.
Then you're fulfilling your role.
Okay, you should see the way I'm dressed, or feel the energy of the way I'm dressed, and we'll tell you all about it. Are you able to tell us more about them? Normally I do not dress like this, but I was called. Ah. So can you tell us more about the mantis beings?
They are the overseers of the hybridization program. Because the Greys, at one point, decided that they had to give up their emotionality and become a hive mentality in order to accomplish the task, because it was so large. They knew they needed someone to guide them. And so, in a sense, the mantis beings were, well, I'll use your word, hired to guide them. So the mantis beings are the overseers of the hybridization program.
I see. So,
They had to give up their emotionality to reclaim their emotionality in the hybrids.
and how are they assisting humanity with that project?
Am I assisting you?
Yes.
Then you know.
Perfect. Thank you.
Because my civilization is one of the hybrid civilizations that resulted from the hybridization agenda.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you.
We are helping to make sure, of course it's your choice, you do not go down the same path that the Greys went down when they were humans on a parallel Earth where they destroyed their reality.
Got it.
Remember that the Greys are mutated humans. They're not aliens.
Yes.
They are what became of humanity on a parallel version of Earth that destroyed its environment and had to mutate to survive and could no longer reproduce, and so had to use their advanced technology to come to parallel realities such as yours, where human DNA was still viable, that they could add to their own to create hybrids to perpetuate their society.
Okay.
We are one of those hybrid civilizations, and we are helping you to, again, according to your own choices, see that you have an opportunity to not go down the same path as the Greys went down on their version of Earth.
I see. Because I feel they're extremely hard-based, and I'm like saying this very lightly because they can go deeper and deeper and deeper of the layers of the heart and explain and describe things that are so, I guess, abstract to expand our mind. They've been quite informative with my relationship, with them. So,
Yes.
yeah.
They do seem abstract to most humans in a lot of ways, but it's because of the reality that they inhabit. It doesn't always interpret straight across to the understandings of your reality. Nevertheless, they are extremely emotional beings, extremely deeply emotional intelligences, and they have a great deal of intelligence about the idea of the expressions and energies associated with different emotions, which is why the Greys utilize them as the overseers. They are the keepers of the emotions that the Greys gave up.
Amazing. Wow. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna jump to my more three-dimensional question on this planet. I have always stuttered, and I do every once in a while. I use certain words to kind of guide me from one word to another. So why did I choose as a soul like speech impediment, and how am I able to train myself and others to speak with ease?
It forces you to communicate more strongly in other ways, doesn't it?
Perfect. That's exactly what I always knew. Thank you.
Yes.
Just confirmed it. Are you able to share anything fascinating that you have not shared yet about the 13 skulls, the 13 crystal skulls?
One moment.
Sure.
Have you visited what are called the Serpent Mounds in your area of Ohio?
On my list.
Go, and when you meditate there, you may get some information from one of the skulls that is connected to that culture.
And is the skull there, or it's just there's a connection there?
The skull is instructing us to say that the word there is a relative term, not meaning to be too cryptic, but the skulls are very cryptic.
So are they there on a different frequency and we're unable to see them?
Yes.
Understood. Fantastic. Can you give us, I guess, a step-by-step example of what the process might look like of actually becoming, I guess, a caretaker of a hybrid child from when we first meet them to everyday interaction?
At first, these sanctuaries will be somewhat isolated, and only a few humans will be allowed to interact according to the hybrid children's agenda as to what they feel comfortable or important in terms of the way that they should interact with humans at that time. Humans will synchronistically be attracted in small numbers to these sanctuaries, and over time the numbers will grow as humans and hybrids become more comfortable and familiar with one another.
I see. Perfect. And what role did the fires that just happened in Maui, I guess, play, and how can we best support the sovereignty of the land and the people in Maui?
All we can do right now is sum up the idea that you are experiencing the consequences of choices that were made that are not necessarily in alignment with stewardship of the land.
Got it. Okay. You channeled this super wise entity. I can't remember his name or its name. He was very ancient, and he's the one who went like this. He said, Mazani.
Yes, this was an Anuhet being,
Anuhet.
the seventh hybrid race.
Are you able to bring him through? And
Not at this time.
understood. Okay. This is not a question, but an invitation that came through when I was showering this morning.
The shower is often a good meditation chamber.
Yes, and driving. I would like to invite you to join hearts with me, and if you're able to channel through the praying mantis energies, any messages for...
Not at this time.
Okay.
But you will have a dream soon.
Okay. Well, I am so forever grateful, and thank you with my unconditional love.
Our deep appreciation and unconditional love to you as well. Good day.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
My English is second language, so
My English is not good either.
sorry if it's difficult for you to understand it. I have a contemporary question. I use Instagram for my work, and sometimes I care about how many likes I get. And I always want to have compliments or encouragement from people. But when I don't get that, I feel like I am alone, and I feel like people forget about me. And I don't want to have those feelings inside me. How can
So
I?
you are not following your passion for its own sake, but for what you think it will get you. You have to follow your passion regardless of what people's response is, because there's simply no other choice for you. That's being who you really are. It doesn't matter what other people think or what they give you. You have to follow your passion for its own sake, or you're not being pure about it. You're using it as a condition to get feedback, to be validated by the outside world. The outside world cannot validate you. You can only validate yourself. So as soon as you start simply doing what you love for its own sake, not because of the feedback you're going to get, then it can expand and more people can find you who will support you. But you can't do it to get the support. You have to support yourself. You have to know that you are valid.
Okay, thank you.
Does that help you?
Yes, it did.
Then thank you for allowing us to encourage you.
Our next question is, when I get big job, I get a lot of pressure and anxiety, even though I want people to know about me more. I get scared and ended up escaping from those situations. And
All right, this is the same thing though. You're giving over to the idea of outside validation.
But this pressure made me confused if I want to do it or not.
You are putting the pressure on yourself. You are overwhelming yourself by the way you're thinking about what it is you're doing. That's what we're attempting to tell you. You have to just do what you love to do for its own sake. It doesn't matter what other people think about it.
But it sometimes make me excited, also worry at the same time.
No, not at the same time. You go back and forth. You cannot be excited and be in anxiety at the same time. You are making a choice to leave your excitement and go into anxiety because you have fear-based belief systems about yourself with regard to that situation. Sometimes you will leave that and go back into excitement. We would simply suggest that you remain in excitement instead of shifting into anxiety. But if you do shift into anxiety, ask yourself why. What is the belief you have about yourself in that situation that makes you go into anxiety? That makes you afraid of something might happen that you do not prefer? Why do you have that definition? Do you understand?
Half of it.
When you go into anxiety, that's because you have a fear-based belief that you think something bad is going to happen. Why do you have that belief? You have to find out why you're holding on to that belief so you can let it go. All anxiety is the result of fear-based beliefs. So you must have fear-based beliefs about yourself that says that it's more likely than not that something bad is going to happen.
Okay, I understand.
All right.
Next question is, when I was little, my dad was abusing me physically. Last
Yes.
time I met him, we were watching a movie, and the movie was about, the movie was about the mom was abusing her daughter.
Yes.
And what he said was, how can she abuse her own child? I can't believe it. He said that multiple times. I was very surprised and confused. Is this because my dad doesn't remember the memory of what he had done, or because he lives in present?
All right. And so? Do you wish to hold on to that or let it go?
I want to let it go.
All right. Then forgive. Remember, it doesn't condone the action to forgive. You can still recognize the action that someone took as a negative, fear-based action because they didn't know any better. Because it takes a victim to make a victim. And therefore, being in fear, being victimized himself, he didn't know how to express the idea of connection and love in a positive way. You don't need to continue to connect yourself to that experience. You can move on and have the compassion to forgive, because again, remember, the original definition of forgiveness is to no longer need revenge, to no longer need to punish someone for what they've done. Because that only keeps you connected to the negative energy. And then you are punishing and abusing yourself from that point forward. So do not abuse yourself. Let it go, forgive, and move forward.
So if I forgive, I don't remember this memory anymore?
You may or may not, but you can use it to learn from. If you forgive, you will simply be free to be who you wish to be. Forgiveness is freedom. You are no longer shackled to the idea of a so-called past that is simply no longer your past. If you become a different person, you have a different past. Do you understand this concept?
Yes.
All right. So be the person you prefer to be now, knowing that you can use what you do remember to push you in the direction that is opposite, to push you in the direction of being your true self, to push you in the direction of freedom and love. And therefore, even though he may not have known what he was doing, he still pushed you in that direction. So use it in a positive way and let it go.
Okay.
Does that help you?
It helped me.
All right.
Last question.
Yes.
Can you please describe how my higher self looks like? Or how?
Why do you need to know how your higher self looks? Other than, again, as an orb of light.
Or the character?
For what?
The character?
The character? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
What do you mean by character?
Is higher self have a character?
You are part of the higher self. Remember, the higher self is just a portion of you that is still in spirit. And all of you is still in spirit. You're just dreaming that you're not. So, how does the higher self feel to you?
Feel to me.
Speak up.
Feel to me?
How does it feel to you? How does the higher self feel?
Strong.
Strong. Therefore, you are strong, and that is its character. It is loving, unconditionally. It is guiding you, unerringly, by sending you vibrational messages that translate through your body as passion, excitement, creativity, attraction, love. Constantly guiding. It is a guiding light. Follow it. Act on it. It is absolutely an indestructible core of strength. So, be strong.
Okay.
Be yourself.
Last question. I just want to make sure the forgive is letting go.
It is not condoning the idea of a negative perpetration, but it is letting go. It's freeing yourself and disconnecting from that so it doesn't hold you back. Because otherwise, you're just perpetuating it.
How can work on that? How can I work on that?
You don't work on it, you just let it go. Do
Like
you
I
want to
decide-
remain connected to the idea of abusing yourself? Do you want to continue to abuse yourself?
No.
Then stop. That's it. It's that easy.
So
Move forward.
so if I think If I imagine it, I just don't think about it.
Say again.
If I thought about it, I just stop thinking about it.
It's not stopping to think about it. It's letting it go in terms of any effect that it has on you negatively. You are free from it. You can think about it. You can remember it. It doesn't matter. You might forget about it, but it doesn't matter. Remember, it's not about what happens. It's about what you do with what happens that makes the difference in your world. So again, we're not saying that you condone what happened, but the idea is that you can forgive in order to free yourself so that you are not continuing the abuse on yourself. Yes?
Yes.
It's not about forgetting the incident. It's about forgiving yourself.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
So I heard about your copper ball experiment,
Yes.
where you measure the resonance of a copper ball in one location and another, and then blast it with the subtracted difference to get the conductive ball to roll around.
Yes.
I was wondering if it would be possible to, instead of measuring these subtle frequencies, to simply pick a frequency range and blast the ball with that frequency and experiment with different linear frequencies, or just like a linear sweep and a combination sweep, to see if we could get it to roll around without actually measuring it in the first place.
Sure.
So if you change just one frequency of the locational variable, does that automatically result in a total change of the location, or are the different like subcomponents of the locational variable kind of connected together?
There are subcomponents, which is why in your case the ball would roll around as opposed to simply disappearing at point A and reappearing at point B.
Okay, so
Your technology is not precise enough yet.
precise enough to blast it or precise enough to measure it?
It's not precise enough to get it to disappear from point A
Oh,
and
right,
appear
right.
at point B.
So not, okay.
So the effect would be that it would simply roll from point A to point B and
Right.
stop.
Okay, so the frequency that we blast the object with, does it have to be close enough to one of the constituent frequencies that the object already has, or can it literally be any frequency, say below 400 cycles per second?
No. You are making the object resonate and measuring that frequency in one location and then moving it to the second location, making the object resonate and measuring that frequency and then measuring the difference between them.
Right, but because our equipment isn't sensitive enough to measure the like those types of vibrations yet, or you're unsure if
No, it is. It
is.
is. That's why we gave you the experiment.
Okay,
You
I
just
see.
have to use sophisticated equipment.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to share an observation that I made about frequency harmonics.
Yes.
So if you take this value of 3.69303 megahertz, so synchronistic numbers, and you repeatedly step it down with golden ratio increments using divisions, then we encounter a lot of important frequencies, for example, 333 kilohertz, and also the heart and the root solfeggio frequencies, 639 and 396 cycles per second. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about this harmonic and potential applications of it.
Nope.
Okay, then I'll ask more.
Not our job at the moment.
Okay. So you wouldn't be able to tell me if this highest frequency is the necessary frequency for the outermost shell of the SSONI free energy device?
We are no longer allowed to comment on the information we have given about the free energy devices at this time.
Okay, thank you for establishing that. I was wondering, at this point, how far above Bell Rock is your ship?
700 feet.
Still 700. Okay,
Yes.
wonderful.
You are clapping as if you could reach up and touch us.
Okay, so from a linear standpoint, I was wondering what % of the people in this room have what would seem to be a future incarnation as a member of the Essassani?
39%.
39%, wow. Am I one of the 39%?
Since you asked, yes.
Wonderful. So,
It doesn't mean that you're in my contemporary time frame.
okay, so different timeline, but same civilization.
Yes.
Okay,
In
so
which the counterpart is, in fact, a technician.
a technician. Wonderful. Yeah, that would make sense. I was
Maybe you can ask him the questions that you're asking.
I would love that opportunity, yes. I was wondering, I know you said that this will decrease my frequency, but just so I know, I was wondering if you could give me a frequency reading as well.
I know you said this will hurt, but I was just wondering.
I can take the pain.
139,000 cycles per second.
All right.
It was 143,000.
Okay. All right.
Say ouch.
All right. That will be all for now for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love you very much.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you for everything. And thank you to all of the questioners for their wonderful questions. Asked so many things I wanted to know. And thank you, a special thanks to the first questioner of today, just wherever you are. Thank you. Hi. I feel that I'm not one of the 39%.
No, you are connected to a different form of hybrid.
Can you say more?
You are connected more to the Yael.
Oh, okay. Okay, I wanted to talk about frequency, but in less technical terms.
All right.
But that was great and fascinating, although some of it went over my head. So when you're speaking about our frequency, in your terms, frequency is literally our very conventional science idea of cycles per second or hertz.
Yes, but we're incorporating more than your scientists know about when we give you the answer to those frequency questions.
Okay.
Your scientists haven't arrived at that yet.
Okay.
It's still cycles per second.
Okay. Is this the same thing as the vibration that so many spiritual teachers say it is our job to raise? I mean, that is if we prefer to take the next step in evolution and ascension. Is it the same thing?
You have, all of you, a core frequency in physical reality that exists on the threshold between physical and non-physical reality of 333,000 cycles per second as we measure these things. The idea is the degree of difference between that frequency and the frequency you are as a physical being based on all of the belief systems within you and how they may impede you from being that higher frequency.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about that threshold. How then is it that some beings who are in spirit, who are of a negative polarity, or to put it in terms of law of one, are in service to self, are at a higher frequency? I'm assuming, I'm extrapolating this from the fact that they are in spirit. Yes. Than those of us incarnate on earth who are focusing on love and choosing the service to others, right?
Yes, that's a very good question. The answer is the lower astral realm, the first stage of non-physical reality, has a component in it that is very strongly connected still to the earth cycle vibration. And thus, a spirit can decide or can simply find themselves, based on the belief systems they brought over into non-physical reality, still at frequencies where they can express certain ideas of negative experience. It's like starting over again on a different scale.
Oh.
Do you understand? So in the lower astral, above 333,000 cycles per second, transitioning into the lower astral, in a sense, though this is not accurate, but in a sense, it's sort of like you're starting at zero again.
Okay.
So you can have lower astral vibrations that can be expressed negatively.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes. Okay, and so maybe I'm mistakenly equating frequency with mood, but...
Oh, yes.
Yes, I am mistaking that?
Yes.
Okay.
It can be associated, but that's not always the case.
Okay.
You can be very happy at 150,000 cycles per second. You can also be very miserable at 149,000 cycles per second. It depends on the mix of the belief systems.
It's really based on beliefs rather than how you're feeling?
Feelings are generated by beliefs.
Right.
So yes, it's based on your belief system.
Okay.
Because you can think you feel pretty good, and you can actually be disguising what you really believe.
And you can think you feel pretty bad, but have
Yes.
really helpful beliefs.
Yes. Except for the one that allows you to think that somehow you're not worthy to experience those positive beliefs.
Right. Okay.
One can overwhelm the others depending on what the belief is. So it can be a small fraction of your overall frequency, but it can have very profound effects on the rest of your belief systems depending on what that belief is.
Sure. Okay, I'm gonna go.
Does that help?
Yes, but I think I'm gonna have to listen to it back because I'm kind of also thinking about the questions I want to ask. And
All right, you may listen to it back, but I would recommend that you listen to it forward.
yeah, that'll be helpful too.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna go for it. The frequency question, mine. I just felt it go down. Oh wait, it's not based on feeling.
Would you like it to go back up?
Yes.
Think of something you love very much, or someone. Do you have it?
Yes.
167,000 cycles per second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good day.
Oh, I'm finished?
Do you have another question?
I do.
Let's see if you're finished.
Okay. So one of the previous questioners said they felt like in last night's meditation, we all went through a portal. Did we all go through that portal? Because I think, I'm asking this based on my experience of it, and I was very tired, and I there were some others that
Let me put it to you this way. If you didn't go through the portal in your own way, you wouldn't be here asking questions today.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you all went through it, but you went through it in your own way.
Sure.
Now you're finished.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
こんにちは。
Konnichiwa. お元気ですか?
元気ですよ。Today, I feel very honored to communicate with you in this way, and I've got one statement and one question.
Yes.
I will begin with my statement.
All right.
Yesterday in the morning, my Japanese friends and I visited Bell Rock and meditated for a while. And then I heard you saying the best contribution you can make is to this universe is to be your true self.
Yes.
After that, when I arrived at this venue and checked in, I was surprised to find out that I chose a new reality in which I had won the raffle. So following your kind advice, now I try to be honest as much as possible in front of my lovely people sharing this beautiful moment.
All right, thank you.
Since I was little, I really didn't like wars or conflicts. My little heart was broken every time I heard news about wars all over the world.
Yes.
In particular, when my parents took me to the Atomic Bomb Museum in Hiroshima, I was horrified by the tragedy. I was sad to see that we human beings hurt each other without love and mercy. Later on, I learned that Imperial Japan also conducted many wrongdoings in particular in Asia. I wanted more peace and harmony on this planet, and so I decided to study more about wars to prevent them. Eventually, I went to the UK and got a PhD in international relations. But even when I published my articles, I couldn't bring about peace and harmony. In the end, I found out that academia is not the right place for me to change the world. 2 years ago, my mom transitioned to the different dimension. Thanks to that painful heartbreak, I met you. You told me that in order to bring about peace and harmony on this planet, I've got to be of those vibrations first. That was a sea change in my life. I left academia. I started to forgive myself. I started to love myself first before thinking of wars. And I started to forgive and love others. I started to have more relaxing time in nature. I started to enjoy the starry sky while thinking of you. I started to communicate with animals. I started to swim with dolphins. I started to grow organic rice and vegetables. I started to teach children at a free school to teach them, you are perfect as you are. The beautiful smiles taught me that I'm perfect as well. My new life was full of excitement, and one day I felt excited about this event in Sedona. So my Japanese friends and I came here. On Friday, our group and another group of Japanese people were invited by a Hopi person. So we visited his village. His name is Reuben. He took us to a sacred place in Hopi. There were so many pictographs on the wall. He said, during the World War II, from our sacred land, uranium was taken, and that was used to make atomic bombs. They were dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I'm sad that our land of peace was used for the war. He also said we needed to prevent another nuclear war. In order to achieve peace and harmony on this planet, first we needed to forgive ourselves. We needed to love ourselves. After that, we had dinner at Reuben's place. When I randomly talked with Japanese guys sitting next to me, he told me that they are also big fans of you, and they are here today. And they told me that while following their highest excitement, beautiful synchronicities led them to start a project on free energy in Japan.
Yes.
Their excitements united people.
Although it is still at the beginning stage, an artist of geometry, he is here today, a politician, and scientists are coming together to share their ideas on free energy by referring to the blueprint of it, which you made public before.
Yes.
Now I'm very happy that I chose a reality in which free energy is getting real. Now I feel more peace and harmony on this planet. Now I feel that we are empowered and connected to the source. There are so many beautiful souls here today. We are deeply connected to the universe, this beautiful planet, and more importantly, to ourselves.
Yes.
I can't express how grateful I am that you kindly co-created this wonderful miracle with us.
It is our passion and our pleasure.
Thank you. Now my childhood dream is coming true.
We thank you for following your path.
Thank you so much. You are a star and I love you.
Our unconditional love to you as well.
This is the end of my statement.
Thank you.
Any comments for them?
And did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question, but different topic. Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Okay, sure. So there is a book. This is a book titled Right Use of Will. And once you said this book was written by channeling all that is. Now I am translating this beautiful book into Japanese. For me, the most amazing chapter was the history of Pangea, or Pan. But I noticed that you haven't talked about Pangea that much in comparison to Lemuria or Atlantis. Do you have any plan to share more information about Pangea in future?
Pangea.
Okay, sorry, Pangea. Yeah, okay.
All we can say at this point, because it's a little premature, is that there have been other civilizations on your planet you know nothing about.
Wow. That's crazy. Okay. So yesterday you were talking about true history. Do you think the history of Pangea is going to be revealed in
Yes.
future? Is that quite soon?
In open contact at some point over the course of the next several years, once open contact is established, you will be given information about the entire history of the Earth.
That's amazing.
Now, we understand that we keep saying you change your past along with your present, and this is true. So the history that you will be given will be representative of the state you are in at that time. And it will be reflective of you having decided that open contact is something you truly prefer.
Okay, I see. Then I will keep on following my passion for peace and...
All right. And do remember once again, you never change the earth you're on. You shift to another earth constantly that is more reflective of the changes you make within yourself.
Thank you.
So keep making the changes you prefer. And we thank you.
Thank you very much. I love you.
Our unconditional love to you
See you
as well.
later.
Well, that's also hard to follow. Oh my goodness. Avel Bashar, I love
Good day,
you.
good day.
I love you.
Speak up, speak up.
I love you. I love you.
Thank you.
And I
Our
love
love to
you.
you as well.
Thank you. It was just so exciting seeing all your highest excitement coming in, and this was sold out. Thank you for the 3 A's. I appreciate, acknowledge, and allow.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
And-
it's acknowledge, appreciate, and allow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I acknowledge that.
I appreciate that. And I will allow you to continue.
Thank you. I don't know if it's just me or our government has recently acknowledged, and it still feels like a hoax to me, that there really are UFOs.
Yes.
And it's just so exciting to hear. I met somebody that had only found out about you 4 months ago, and she was so excited, and she's like, I'm telling everybody that I meet. And I was like, wow, that's how we affect change. And
Yes.
teaching people about the tools in the toolbox, I'm so grateful for that.
Yes.
So, questions I have, are there beings and spaceships over Cathedral Rock in Sedona?
Yes.
Who are they?
No comment.
No comment. Are there a lot of them?
There are a few, and they come and go.
Okay.
There's a lot of traffic around your planet. You just don't see it all.
Okay. You once said there are people on the earth who are 200, 400, and even 1,000 years old.
Yes, they are few and far between, but they exist.
And what kind of things would we notice or sensations would we get if we were around these ancient beings?
Astonishment.
That was a question for someone else. Okay.
Yes.
Do
You would sense that there is a depth to them that is rare on your planet. A calmness, a centeredness, an indestructibility about them. Something of another reality about them.
And do you have any messages for me?
From whom?
From you?
From us?
From you or the hybrid children or?
Anyone at all?
Anything, anyone.
Are you acting on your passion every moment that you can be?
Yes, that's why I'm here.
All right.
Okay, and then.
Then what do you think you're missing?
I don't think I'm missing anything.
Then why did you ask if I had messages for you?
Because I'm one of those silly people that it's like, what question should I ask Bashar other than, I'm so grateful. I'm just so truly, deeply grateful
All right.
for you.
Then I would suggest that the message we send you is that you stay in that exact state of appreciation and gratitude, not because of us, but because of your connection to Source.
Thank you, Bashar. Thank you. Aveo.
Aveo.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
What a pleasure to be here and be with everybody here. I just want to comment how heart-centered I feel and how privileged and honored. And I just got nominated to ask that question, so I'm thrilled and I thank you. This is actually from a friend of mine, and it's a question that I've also been
All right, speak
questioning.
up, speak up.
There are many people that are having contact interactions with a species called the Plagiarians. And there's a gentleman that wrote multiple books called the Plagiarian Diaries. And he's having interactions with these beings, physical interactions. And I was wondering if you could comment on that.
I am not allowed to. There are many species that are having contact with people on your planet that it is simply not within our allowance to discuss at this time. It's premature. Others will give you the information that you need.
Okay, he's having interactions with a being that he calls Samyaza.
As I said right now, we are not allowed to talk about some of these other interactions.
All right, thank you. Well, then I'm going to ask you a personal question. I was in Mount Shasta about 3 weeks ago, and we were doing a Rama contact retreat, which was amazing. And we went into a meditation, and I went into the mountain and was confronted with 3 doors, and I chose the door of purity. When I walked in that door, I was inside this black ship, and there was nothing. There was just darkness. It was a ship that was very square and rectangular, and I could see the universe from within the ship. The hull was translucent in that sense, but there was nobody in the ship.
That you could tell.
That I could tell, correct. And I was wondering why I was so empty and I felt so alone. I was the only one in the ship.
But you weren't. If you had shifted your vibration a little bit, you would have realized that it was fully populated. So it was an opportunity for you to sense, at first, the empty space that you create for yourself, in which you can change your frequency, change your vibration, and to give you practice at shifting your vibration even just a little bit to realize how close other realities and other dimensions actually are to your frequency.
Wow. Wow, thank you.
Yes.
The next night, we had a similar meditation, and this one I chose the door of healing after some meditation that we did. And this time I went into a ship that was rounded, very light, with beings that were there, and I couldn't tell if they were hybrids. They were small, children-like, and I was sitting in this recliner, and they were working on me. They had these devices that they were, the night before I had what's called cesium crystal activation in my heart, and they were working on that crystal, and they were calibrating it.
Yes.
And for me to have discernment in my life on what resonates with me and what doesn't. And I'm curious who these beings were.
Well, you just said who they were. They were hybrids.
Okay.
And so you're experiencing a memory of an encounter that you had.
Wow. Great. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that.
Yes.
All right.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Hi, I'm so excited. I just got picked, so
Oh,
my
all right.
question is personal.
Yes.
On June 8th of 2020, I had an experience with my divine counterpart. I wanted to know what my cycles per second were during that interaction. And can you-
186,000 cycles per second.
Okay, and can you go a little bit more into the Christ consciousness frequency that the physical mind understood the experience to be?
Christ consciousness frequency is above 230,000 cycles per second.
Okay, excellent. And I was just wondering if counterparts have the same core frequency.
No, it is slightly different because you are different beings, but there are a lot of similar wavelengths within it that cause the attraction.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. I just wanted to get clarification.
Yes.
And I just had one more question. Can
We'll
you go
see
a
about
little
that.
bit into how the energy works between counterparts when they're physically interacting?
Well, there is an exchange, a sharing of frequencies, a matching of frequencies that open you up to inspirations you otherwise might not have on your own. So it's a reflective quality that counterparts can do for each other, where their vibration inspires you to match their frequency, giving you more access to more information that can help you become more of yourself.
Okay, perfect. That's been my experience. So thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
Good day.
First, I want to thank you because of an interaction that you had 30 years ago with a person that eventually made me that I'm here today.
All right, thank you.
So for that interaction of 30 years ago is really meaningful, has been really impactful in my life.
All right.
My question is maybe an expansion on something that you have addressed yesterday, but I would like to ask whether you have anything more to that, whether you could give any more comments on a human condition that we call grief after the departure of a loved one or
Yes.
another dramatic, traumatic loss.
Again,
because
you have to stop calling it a loss.
Okay.
That's why you experience it as grief, because you're defining it as a disconnection, as a loss.
Yeah, you did mention that yesterday.
Yes.
The issue in that situation is that one of your key themes is to connect with your excitement.
Yes.
And that has become a theme in my life.
Yes.
But in a situation like that, it is one of the most difficult things to do exactly that.
If you say so, if you believe so. Okay. But it is only because you have been trained to define it that way.
Okay.
You need to retrain yourself to understand it in a different way and give it a different definition, and then you will experience it differently. Remember, it's only your definitions that create the way you experience something. So when you say it's difficult, you have to understand there's no such thing as an inherently difficult situation. It is only the definitions that make it seem so.
The human condition of that is...
That is human training.
Okay.
Not your natural state.
Okay.
So you have to untrain yourself and go back into your natural state, which knows it is connected to everything and experiences that connection in a lot of joyful ways. Thus, a transition into spirit would not be experienced by someone in that state as a grief-oriented experience, and it wouldn't be difficult in any way, shape, or form to feel the connection that is still there. So you're talking about human training, not a natural condition.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Do you understand?
It does make sense.
All right.
Okay.
And so, can you have a belief that you can train yourself to experience that transition differently?
I guess that is the difficulty, to not feel that belief.
Do you understand that feelings are generated by belief?
Yeah, I heard you say that, and yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So you can't have that feeling if you don't have that belief.
Okay.
You have a different belief, you have a different feeling.
Okay.
So it's up to you to find out why you're holding on to that belief and let it go, so that you will have a different belief that generates a different feeling.
Okay.
Does it serve you to believe that this is a difficult thing to do?
No, it doesn't.
Then why are you choosing to do that?
Yeah. That's the vicious circle that situation so easily brings.
That's what happens when you buy into beliefs that are out of alignment with who you prefer to be. It creates that vicious cycle, as you say.
Yeah.
Because remember, all beliefs are designed to reinforce themselves. They have to perpetuate themselves. That's just the way they're designed. Or you wouldn't be having a physical experience, because physical reality is an illusion. So it's the beliefs in the physical mind that make physical reality seem real and solid, because belief systems reinforce themselves with emotions, with thought patterns and behaviors to make physical reality seem real. Mm-hmm. But when you change the belief, you change the feelings, you change the thoughts, you change the behaviors, and you change the experience. That's the order in which it happens. So anytime you're having an experience that you don't prefer, it can be traced all the way back to a belief that you're holding on to for some reason that you think it's important to hold on to. Find out why you believe it's important to hold on to it, and then you'll see that it is nonsensical. It doesn't really make sense. It's not really necessary, and you can let it go, because as soon as a belief system doesn't make sense, it's gone. You've dropped it, because you don't hold on to things that don't make sense. If you hold on to a belief that doesn't work for you, that can only mean there is some belief within you that's making it make sense or making it seem like the better alternative. This is what we call the motivational mechanism. You always move toward what you believe benefits you. You always, without fail, move away from what you don't believe benefits you. So if you are holding on to something that doesn't feel right, that feels like a struggle, that feels like difficulty, if you're holding on to it, that can only mean you have a belief that says that the alternative is worse and would be more painful, more difficult. So you might have a belief within there that says, well, if I don't feel this grief, then somehow I am not honoring this person. I'm not connecting to this person. You might think that the idea of letting the grief go somehow lets the person go. when in fact it would actually connect you more strongly to them if you understood how things worked. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Is it helping?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's helping.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
That was my question.
All right, thank you.
Thank
you. All right. Enjoy your short break, and we will resume this transmission with a holotope meditation. All right, I'll say thank you for your attention at this time. We will continue this transmission with your holotope meditation. Allow yourselves, with either eyes open or eyes closed, whatever you are comfortable with, to focus on the holotope in front of you, the patterns, the fractals, the representations of multiple parallel realities, and allow yourself to become relaxed and let go of the cares of the day. Allow your music to come up. Allow yourselves to drift and dream with us now as we take you on this journey. Allow yourselves to focus on all of the different colors and patterns in the holotope before you. Experience the multidimensionality of this symbol and this representation. Allow yourselves to breathe deeply and easily in and out. In and out. In and out. And remember all that we have discussed in the transmissions yesterday and today of your time, of your connections to multiple dimensions, of your connections to parallel realities, of your connection to the higher mind, of your connection to souls, spirit guides, and soul families and friends, of your ability to crystallize all of these connections, all of these lines of energy and lines of light, and to bring them to the forefront of your physical reality experience by taking the actions on your passions that are representative of who you truly are in your core frequency. Let this holotope image be a representation of all of the parallel reality and multiple dimensional connections that you have within each and every one of you. You are multidimensional beings of light, of love, of energy and consciousness. Allow yourselves to continue to breathe deeply and evenly. And allow yourselves now, in your imagination, to connect to this image of the holotope as the energy that radiates outward from your solar plexus, from your heart, from your mind, multidimensional levels simultaneously overlapping. Allow yourself to breathe this in and breathe it out into your reality experience every moment of every day as you journey through life, the unique path that you are. Breathe it in and breathe it out. And feel the freedom that comes with releasing all of the belief systems that do not serve you, that are out of alignment with who you prefer to be. Let them go. Let them go. Let them go. And invite in all of those that do serve you, that do align with your core vibration, your essential self. Remember in the law of attraction that you are always radiating that core frequency and it is always attracting what you need. Let yourself clear the way so that it can attract what you need to be fulfilled in life, to be joyful in life, to be of service to all others in life by being your true self, as a living example of love and light, of action, of creativity and imagination, of kindness and compassion, of gentleness and willingness to include all on your journey that are relevant for you to experience, relevant for you to have relationships with, as they come to you in perfect timing across the span of your timeline, the span of your life. Letting go of all imposition of what you believe the relationships ought to be, but letting them be what they truly are, so they may serve you purely. All connections to nature, to the sky, to the sea, to the earth, to all dimensions of spirit. And remember that you are in spirit now. Allow yourselves to feel that version of you in spirit that functions as your higher mind, that sends you messages of energy that you translate as passion in your physical form. Allow yourselves to see in this holotope image all of the different parallel realities that you connect to, all of the different lines of light and information and experience that are downloaded into you constantly, moment to moment, billions of times per second, as you fluctuate and shift between all the different realities, as you build your timeline automatically and effortlessly, as you navigate through that timeline towards more and more positive reflections and different versions of Earth. And as you connect and reconnect, as you plug and unplug, dynamically shifting, constantly being a new self, born anew every moment, again and again and again and again. As you journey through this dream, as you become more and more aware, more and more lucid in the physical dream, and become more aware of all your connections to spirit, to self, to extraterrestrial civilizations, to extra-dimensional experiences. As you journey through the stars, as you journey through the cosmos, as you journey through the multiverse, as you feel the waves and waves and waves of love and light from all that is radiating outward from the central core of your being. The warmth of the love and support that are constantly given to you, eternally, infinitely, unconditionally, in the here and the now, from the all that is, to all of you, from all of us, your galactic family, who welcomes you and invites you and cherishes you and knows the power within you and sees the spark of divine light within each and every one of you and all of you together, and knows what you are capable of, and knows you have the freedom to choose, and knows how free you are. Let the illusions of your limitations vanish, disappear, fade from your consciousness, except for those that serve you in a positive way and allow you to experience the process of discovery and change that allows you to grow and allows creation to expand and experience itself anew, constantly and forever, over and over, without end, without beginning, in the here and the now. Allow yourself to breathe in and out, gently, deeply. Forgive and let go. Forgive and let go. Forgive and let go. Allow yourself to shift. Allow yourself to know that you always are changing, for change is the only single constant in creation. Existence is what you are, in all its forms, in all its beauty, in all of its grace and glory. Existence is what you are, self-aware, here and now, existence that cannot be undone, that cannot be annihilated, that cannot cease to exist. Change you will, forever and ever, into different forms and expressions, on an endless journey, a constant journey, a wondrous, magical journey of creation and consciousness, knowing itself more and more deeply every day, every moment. As you walk the path that you are, as you live the agreements that you have made, as you experience the challenges that are representative of the themes of your life, as you allow the transformations to take place that evolve you into a new form of humanity, a new expression of life. As you see yourselves not in nature, but as nature, as extensions of Gaia, extensions of the consciousness of the earth, extensions of the cosmos, extensions of a galactic family, an intergalactic family, an interdimensional family, a multiversal family. Breathe it in and let it out into your reality and crystallize it day by day. And let yourself and your heart be the fiery crucible that melts all away that do not belong, melts it down into liquid, transmuting it and transforming it, and recrystallizing it into pure light, pure love, pure being. You are a grand adventure. You are. You are. You are. And even as all that is expresses itself as I am that I am, you are. You are. You are. Drift and dream and allow the music of creation and the music of the spheres to resonate within you, within your heart, and feel that boundless energy and boundless love, the unconditionality of all that is, that allows you the freedom to choose to be who you are. Feel that energy growing within you, expanding within you, filling you up and fulfilling you. Allow yourself to drift and dream and feel the waves of energy passing through you as you become more and more transparent to yourself, so that you may discern and clearly see all that lies within you, and see the deep mystery of your being and the deep beauty of that mystery that unfolds within you, moment by moment, day by day, in every way that serves you, as you are of service to others. The mystery will unfold and reveal to you all that you need to know, all that is relevant to you, in perfect timing, in beauty and grace and creativity, as your imagination connects you to your higher mind and becomes the conduit of communication to all that is. Receive all that you deserve, for you are all worthy. By the very fact of your existence, you are worthy. For creation does not make mistakes. And even those in your journey that you consider to be mistakes are yet another opportunity to learn, to grow, and to continue your journey in the most beneficial way, in the most expanded way, in the most creative way. So fear not the idea of failure, for from paths that are not yours, you can learn more clearly the path that is you. And in that context, there is no failure if you are willing to learn and willing to grow. Stay in the positive state so that all that occurs will benefit you and serve you. And breathe it in and let it out. And breathe it in and let it out. And breathe it in and let it out. And let the divine spark within you shine forth and ring clearly as a bell. Bell that calls you to the light within yourself. A crystal clarion call to all to say, this is who I am, for I am who I am, and I am the unique expression of all that is, and I am you from a different point of view. And let that be your mantra to all. I am you from a different point of view, and feel the compassion that stretches out from you to all, to all, to all. Breathe it in and breathe it out. Deeply, passionately, live your lives. Float freely now on the currents of creation. Drift and dream in the warm embrace of all that is, for it loves you unconditionally, as it loves itself, for you are itself. You are it and you are other. You are the reflection that allows it to know it is self-aware. To know thyself is to know all that is. And as all that is knows itself through you, you know yourself more and more deeply in every way, every day. Be what you know yourself to be. Take action upon the passions that are your true vibration, your essential self, your core being. your inner light. Crystallize that within you. Breathe it in and make it your own. Drift and dream, drift and dream. Let the vibrations and the music carry you on the currents of creation and receive from us our unconditional love and support and our hand in friendship and in love. Our unconditional love to you all as we welcome you home. Welcome home. Welcome home. And now just allow yourselves to breathe deeply in and let it out. And once more deeply in and let it out. And once more deeply in and hold it and cherish it and blow it out. As it becomes your reality, as it becomes all that you need, as it becomes all that is. And just continue to breathe as your music fades gently, softly. Allow yourself to awaken to a new reality. Every moment, a new reality. Deeply dreaming, deeply living, deeply creating. A new reality every moment of your being. We welcome you home. We welcome you home. We welcome you home.